Friends forever, that's what we are. Through the thick and the thin, we're friendship stars. We're banger main buddies from the days of old. We laugh, cry, and hug, friendship solid gold. My soul code, whatever started a year ago. We share our stories and your stories were told. 80s, 90s memories that give us glee. And on the block party shows and KOTB. Now our friendship circle has grown by far. Hashtag friends forever, that's what we all are. Boom. And if you don't know, now you know. My soul code, whatever for life. Hashtag MSCW. Hashtag friends forever. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh, what was that?
I don't know.
That sounded a little frisky.
It was.
So, it's Thursday night.
It is Thursday night.
The tour has started.
The tour. It is officially NKOTB season. And I didn't say NKOTB like I did last time.
This is not a block party, but
No.
let's just talk about it just for a second, just real quick.
Right. Because if this is your first time listening, welcome.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to us.
Yeah.
And you're in for a great episode, I think.
This is a very special one.
But first and foremost, New Kids, they're on tour.
They are on tour. They are live.
And if you've been watching spoilers like we have, or maybe you've gone to a show already.
Did you watch Joey McIntyre's live video last night?
I did. I watched it live.
I'm jealous.
And
Woo.
and it was great, except for he kept pausing the video.
Yeah. I was wondering.
Joey,
I was like,
what you doing?
I want to see us all live. You're doing it live.
It was amazing. I especially liked his perspective from the stage.
Yes.
Like, oh, that's what you see? You can't make much out.
Yes. I wonder, and like, I think we mentioned this in the chat, like how many people were watching him filming live. Like, I'm watching you, watching me, watching you, watching me.
Oh, right. Like, I get what you're saying. I missed all of that.
You getting what
in
I'm
the
putting
chat,
down?
But yes.
Okay.
So, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Jordan looked nice.
Hey, they all look nice.
Nice.
I especially loved John's lives. Did you watch them?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm glad
At Walmart?
that you. Yes. I want to go to Walmart with John.
I do too.
Take me to Walmart.
John, you're so fun.
Yes.
And you're so handsome.
Yes.
It's like a prince. It's like a Disney prince.
Yes.
The hair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Jonathan Knight, you know what you did.
You know what you did. So if you know us, you know that we talk a little bit in the beginning, which we just did.
Right.
You know, we tangent.
We talk a little bit in the beginning, just like this.
Yeah. We try not to make it too long,
Right.
but yeah, you know, sometimes it gets a little longer than
Sometimes it
shorter,
does.
sometimes whatever. But this time, it's going to be a little shorter because we've got something very special for you. Like we said, we have Jessica from I Used to Be Normal, a boy band fangirl story. And you guys have been talking about it and we're going to bring it to you.
Yeah, so here.
It's coming at you. It's coming at you.
Yeah.
So just to give you a little bit information about the movie I Used to Be Normal, a boy band fangirl story.
Let's hear it.
I'm actually going to read it right from their website.
Perfect.
Because this explains the movie to a T. I'm not even going to try to summarize it because they already do it for me. So here it goes.
Exactly. No one does it better.
This movie is a documentary about fangirls, the beating heart of boy bands for over 5 decades. From the Beatles to the Backstreet Boys to Take That and One Direction, I Used to Be Normal, a boy band fangirl story, will take you back to the fun, fantasy, and feelings of your teenage years. Filmed over 4 years and spanning 3 generations, this intimate coming-of-age story follows a diverse group of women who have had their lives dramatically changed by their boy band obsessions. These 4 women must navigate the challenges of relationships, family, sexuality, and faith, while constantly grappling with all the problems and contradictions that are part of being in love with a boy band. That is the truth.
That is a very good summary.
So without further ado, here is our podcast episode with Jessica from I Used to Be Normal, a boy band fangirl story. Here we go.
Whoa! This is Brooke.
And this is Nikki.
And this is Jessica.
And this is my so-called whatever.
Yay!
Hey, guys. Hey, Jessica.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
So, Jessica is the director of the movie that you all may be familiar with, which is I Used to Be Normal, a boy band fangirl story. And we know that you guys know about it because you've been posting about it in our group.
Right.
Yes, and you were so excited about it. And guess what, guys? It's coming to the United States. So this is actually coming out into the United States on Fuse TV this weekend, right?
Yeah, Saturday the 18th of May is the first screening.
Excellent.
Awesome.
So you guys are going to all have an opportunity to watch. We're not going to give away any spoilers, though.
No.
So don't feel free to listen first because we're not going to give anything away. We promise. So
we've done this already once.
Yes. Let's go with the history of this.
I mean, let's just be
honest.
Completely real here.
Full transparency here.
Full transparency. This is the second time that we've talked to Jessica.
Correct.
Because the first time we had Jessica and Rita, who's the producer, who couldn't be with us on this date.
Right.
But, the audio didn't work.
Nope. It did not work.
So
I don't think it's your fault. Technology has its limitations. I'm in Australia. She was in New York. You had so many lines coming in, Don't blame us.
Goodness. We couldn't hear it at the time.
Right.
And you guys know that we've done this before. We do interviews over Skype. I mean, we had Donnie Wahlberg on. We had, Joey Fatone was in person. So that was
in
good.
person. So
yes.
that was like.
Yeah. So that was, we didn't have to really worry.
And there's our Joey Fatone plug for this episode.
Yeah. We always talk about Joey Fatone. So, and Joey McIntyre. Hey.
Right. Hey.
Mission Interview Joey 2019. And so we know that you guys know that we do this often, and knock on wood, we've only had we had a couple blips with the Rod and Jenny episode, which you guys still haven't heard, but not like this. Like this was, you couldn't even understand us and we couldn't hear it. And then when I played it back, I was like, I can't even believe that we carried on a conversation because I couldn't understand anything I was saying or you.
Have you spoken to someone in Australia before? Maybe it's because we're forward in time. Maybe it was just, it was too much.
Maybe. You are our first Australian guest.
Yeah.
So very excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here.
We'd like to talk about the movie a little bit. If you could just give us a brief background of the movie and how this came to be, that would be amazing.
Okay, so I was in high school at, I guess, what a lot of people call like the height of the boy band era, Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and all those guys. That was my high school years, but I was not interested at all. I was very dismissive of the music, of the fans, of just the whole thing. I was listening to jazz music and classical, and I was like, oh, pop music, who needs that? And it wasn't until I was 31 years old and I discovered One Direction, and I was kind of reborn as a boy band fan. So I had no experiences, no precedent for it. And I just fell really hard. I just was like, what is this amazing? Oh, they all wear coordinated outfit. The songs are so catchy. I just fell in love with the whole thing. And I guess because of my age at the time, I was quite isolated in that. And I also, as a documentary filmmaker, I wanted to understand how I was being manipulated. And I wondered, had the Backstreet Boys felt about their band how I did about One Direction? Surely not. Surely, One Direction is where it's at. And that got me interested in talking to fans of different generations and of different bands. And also what was most exciting for me was everything that happened beyond the music, I guess. I interacting with fans online, seeing fan art and fan fiction, all these things I'd never seen before. And I kind of realized I totally misjudged fangirls. They were smart and they were funny and beyond the screaming and the crying at the concerts, they were having these really important relationships and friendships, and the music was helping them through really important things. And I felt like I hadn't seen a fan represented in a way that felt fair now that I was one.
That's a very good point, because I think that for the most part, we kind of get a bad rep. I feel like a lot of people, when they find out that we are who we are because we are extremely.
I mean,
we're big fans of New Kids on the Block
Yeah.
and NSYNC.
We are boy band fans.
We are very much so. And when, especially like talking, just a for instance for you, I was just talking to a friend and she said, "Oh, are you going to the New Kids on the Block concert?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to several." And you know, it's a way that people, they kind of look at you like, "Oh, what's that all about?" When they don't really understand, like, it's just like NASCAR. It's just like
Totally.
it's just like baseball. It's just like
Yeah.
anything like that. We have our favorite players, which happen to be 5 guys that
Yeah.
look incredibly amazing.
Right. And they're smooth and they, you know, have catchy songs.
And they have incredible blue eyes that you get
that was
lost in.
something that stood out to me when I first started to talk about the band. Everyone would say to me, "Oh, but you like them ironically, don't you?" And I was like, "No, I genuinely like them." And they just couldn't get their heads around that. And I think you're right. It's a huge thing about liking a boy band. Even if you like the different kind of music, Sadia in the film, who's a big Backstreet Boys fan, she's also a Radiohead fan. And if she talks about Radiohead in a similar way, I've got all their albums. This is my favorite song. This is, no one judges that. And you're right. Same with sport.
Right.
Sport in Australia is so huge. And in the final season, people travel around to all the matches and they've got their walls covered in posters and their favorite players. And we celebrate that kind of fandom.
Yes.
But we judge boy band fandom.
Right. And they even get painted up sometimes. And
yes, exactly.
You know,
And they wear the jerseys of their favorite players, and it's even more extreme in some ways. But
there are cases, and don't even tell me that there aren't tears. I see people cry.
There are tears.
You're tears of joy, tears of pain, tears of everything.
Yeah.
There's tears.
Lost and sorrow.
Because, when you talk about your favorite boy band, like Our Boys are doing this, I always find it funny when supporters of football teams are like, "Oh, we lost."
Yes.
Because it's like, you didn't actually do anything, but they, you feel this ownership.
Yes.
Oh, we won. Yay, we won. Well, you didn't win. But it's very similar.
It is very similar. And I think that your movie has represented us very well in a light that I think when people look at it, they're going to look at that completely differently.
Mm.
Like, I really, really, and I know, Brooke, you also connected with Dara.
Yes.
We really connected with her. She was a huge Gary Barlow fan from Take That. Well, she was a huge Take That fan, period.
Right.
And is a huge fan. And I saw a lot of myself in her.
Mm.
And I think you did too, Brooke.
I did too, because she was close to our age.
Right.
Which is always, you can identify with that. But she just seemed like someone, like I saw like parts of me in her and parts of you in her and parts of like friends of ours in her.
Right.
And again, that's probably more of the generation, the age,
Right.
But
because you saw the license plate and you were like, "Oh, there's Nikki."
Exactly. Exactly.
I had an NSYNC 5 license plate. So.
Oh, amazing.
So it was we identified a lot with her.
Right.
And she just seemed
she's
like a
also
cool
very
person.
articulate and smart. I mean, all the women are. That was really important to me, to pick women who were kind of analyzing what they were going through. But I guess Dara in particular, because she, she's got business cards that say she's an international boy band consultant. So she really brings to the film a scene with just an amazing summary of what you need to be in a boy band. They're all such smart and funny women. So I'm glad you connected with them.
Yes. And speaking of them, how did you discover the women that were featured in the film?
Well, so Dara actually had a mutual friend with Rita who, when they heard we were making this film, said, "Oh, I know an international boy band consultant." Dara has just printed business cards that say that. It's that whole, the secret. If you put it out into the universe, it will happen. So we, in the beginning, just talked to her. She was just excited the film was being made, and she was in Sydney and we were in Melbourne, and we just fell in love with her over the phone. So we went up to meet her. And similarly with Susan, who's the Beatles fan, I had a mutual friend with her, and they said, if you want to speak to a Beatles fan, I've got, an amazing one for you to talk to. She had, boxes of memorabilia and also very articulate. And Sadia, who's the Backstreet Boys fan, I found her actually online. She'd written an article about the first time she went on a Backstreet Boys cruise. And I'd never heard about the cruises before. This was quite a few years ago. Mm-hmm. And so I was amazed to read about the cruises, but also her voice in the article. You could tell she was quite conflicted about whether this was a good thing to do as a fan or if it was a bit too much. And I thought that was a really interesting conflict to be having. Mm-hmm. And Elif, who's the youngest, she's the One Direction fan. I found her on YouTube. So I was watching a lot of reaction videos at the time, not having my own girlfriends to kind of scream about One Direction with. I was enjoying watching them online. And Elif's really stood out because she, a lot of them people set up their cameras to record themselves while they watch a video or listen to a song for the first time. But she was recorded without knowing, so her friends had secretly set up the camera while they watched a One Direction concert DVD. And her reaction, it's like an 8-minute video. I'd never seen anything like it. The range of emotions that you see on her face, from like pleasure to pain to like, physical distress. She's like chewing on her hair and banging her head on the floor. And I just thought it was so incredible. And I happened to be going to New York. To the same concert that she was going to in a couple of months. So I reached out to her. And yeah, that was the beginning with all of them.
Wow. So when you were looking for them, seeking out these women to find, for the film, did you have specific boy bands in mind you wanted to find? Fans of certain boy bands, or?
I think in the very early stages of the film, because I was new to the whole phenomena, I had very broad ideas. I wanted every boy band represented, and I wanted every kind of fan represented. And I also, in the first year of filming, we spoke to psychologists and songwriters. I guess, I was kind of like digging. It was like this archaeological thing for me of like, what have I missed out on, from 50 years of boy band history. And once we had collected that initial round of material, I sat back and looked at it all and just found that these 4 women really stood out. They were so strong. They'd already had, their journeys had already started, and our friendships had started to build. And I realized I didn't need the experts because these girls and women were experts. Yeah. And I needed to go a bit easier on myself, that I didn't need to represent every boy band, because there's something that you can relate to in each. People say, why isn't One Direction's breakup mentioned in there? But the way Dara talks about Take That breaking up, everyone who's, experienced their band breaking up can relate to that.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I felt like even though not everyone's boy band is in these 4 main bands, there's still, so much that's relatable. And we did try to give little shout outs in different places to lots of different bands along the way.
Yes. So New Kids on the Block are represented. Just want to put that out there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
we
ladies and gents. In there, and New Edition and Monkeys and Five. And yeah, there's lots of little Jonas Brothers and Hanson. There's little what do they call it on DVD when you look out for the little
Easter eggs?
Easter eggs?
Yeah, Easter eggs.
Yes. They're great. Boy band Easter eggs. That's my
I like
Easter
those.
eggs.
I'll take a dozen.
I'll take a baker's dozen. I don't know where that came from. So another person that we related to was Sadia. Mm-hmm. Because we were big NSYNC fans. And around the same time, I mean, she's a little bit younger than us.
Yep.
But we could still relate to her journey. Towards the end, which I don't want to give anything away.
Right.
But I wanted to like call her. I wanted to be like, Sadie, I want to talk to you like one-on-one. Let's talk about this. Because, you know, I really wanted to talk to her about that. Because you'll see. I'm not gonna give anything else away. That's all I'm gonna say.
Right. The end of discussion.
I'm really bad at this.
No.
I'm really bad at not giving anything away.
I mean,
It's just such a good movie. There's so many aspects of like you and I and everybody that's listening to this.
Well, it is. But we should also bring up, and I don't know if we should bring it up or not. I don't know if it's a spoiler or not. If it is, we'll cut it out.
Right. Okay.
But I felt kind of sad.
Okay.
For some of them.
Yes.
Or, you know, at certain points, because I feel like we have this amazing like sisterhood.
Yes, 100%. And I didn't see that.
And I didn't see that.
Right.
And I felt kind of sad, like, during parts. I don't want to give anything away.
Right.
Because I felt like, oh, my dear, like, you need to be embraced by others.
Right. If
there is a tribe there.
There is a tribe.
And find the tribe.
If you had your Brooke or Nikki, like luckily for us, I mean, as you guys know,
right,
that we've grown up together.
We've known each other forever.
We have. And so it was easy for us to always have one another to talk about boy bands with. But for a lot of these women, and a lot more women out there aren't that.
They don't
it's
have
just
that.
Like you said, Jessica, like you didn't have the connection with other women.
And I think that's why I was probably drawn to them. And I know, like you say, having your friend or, you know, a group of friends that you share it with is often such a huge part of being a fan. But I guess because it wasn't my experience, I was drawn to these women who were experiencing a lot of it solo. You know, some of them did have friends that they went to concerts with, but they were the ones who loved it the most and kept that love going. And that's what I was feeling at the time that I was making the film. So, and that probably helped us to bond because, I was like, finally, I've got someone to talk to about this with. And they would say the same thing back to me.
Yes.
I remember Dara saying after our first interview, she was like, I've never spoken about One Direction and had someone look back at me with that level of like delight and interest that I was giving back to her.
Yes.
And so, I think they were all hungry for that opportunity to talk about this thing that they loved because they hadn't had that with their friends or families.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's just so, I guess it's just very different. And I don't know if it's because of where we fell into, but it's just very different with the New Kids on the Block fandom.
Or maybe it's not. And it's just our experience.
It's not. Maybe it's just our experience. You could be right. Because we didn't actually have that experience until just recently, until we started the podcast.
Exactly.
We met.
Which experience?
We have friends that we just met them because of New Kids on the Block. Like, that's the only way we know them from. And they're all over the world.
Special. Yeah.
And,
absolutely.
And they're like best friends. Like,
we talk daily.
We have every single day. It's like
like
they're
running
right
conversation with like 15 of your best friends.
It's so crazy.
And like the cruise is like a reunion.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But we didn't have that before the podcast.
Correct. We didn't.
But we still had each other.
But we had each other. And that was a big deal because, you know, when we're going to concerts and stuff, we had somebody to go with.
Right.
That was one thing I wanted to know when watching the movie. I was like, oh, do they have somebody and they're just not showing it? But it seemed like they were like really in this on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for the most part, they were. I mean, Susan, the Beatles fan, she had friends she went to, you know, at the time, but I think she's still listening to them and still pining and, you know, still has some of the, you know, the pictures on the wall. And
I love it.
I don't know if many other women in their 60s still have the Beatles up on their wall.
Yes. So you are the Harry Styles fan, correct?
Yes. He's like the gateway, you know, I think for a lot of people.
Yes.
Especially in the early days into One Direction.
He's like a gateway drug.
Yes.
No, Harry Styles is my favorite from One Direction by far. Like he's the one.
Yes.
In One Direction.
Yes.
For me, I like that. I get that.
And I liked how it was represented with Dara talking about Gary Barlow, and then Susan had her favorite, and it didn't. But I think like Elif, she just loved them all.
It seemed like she loved them all. I don't remember her saying that, like specifically that she had one.
Well,
favorite.
It was Harry. I think first was Harry.
Oh.
But her cousin, I think they did fall in love with Zayn. Zayn kind of got their attention in the beginning because they're Muslim, and just to see someone who looks like him and has a background that was kind of similar to theirs was so like mind-blowing. for them as young Turkish girls, and so that was very exciting. Her cousin Melissa, who introduced her to One Direction, there's a video of her on YouTube. She went to a meet and greet and she managed to get a wedding ring onto Zayn's finger. As they were like
That's
shaking
amazing. That's amazing. We got to see that video.
I know.
Yeah, it's had a lot of views.
That's a great video.
Billions. Something like me proposing to Zayn Malik.
We'll also find a Leafs video, her reaction video.
No, she had it taken down.
Oh no!
Yeah,
but we'll be able to see it on the movie.
Bit of it. Yeah, there's some excerpts from it. I would have loved. I think it could be in an art gallery, the full 8-minute version of it, because it actually. The friend, she shot it on a proper camera. I think she'd just gotten a nice video camera, and it's right centered on her face, and it's kind of like this religious, beautiful image of her just like going through this exorcism, almost like just looking up to heaven and down at the ground, like just so many feelings. I would watch it in an art gallery, but sadly it's not online anymore.
It was a memorable moment.
It really was
from the film.
Yeah,
that was a memorable moment.
So I can picture that's where the title of the film comes from. It's her exclaiming, "I used to be normal." So even in those throes of huge emotion, she still can like look around at her friends and be like, "What is happening to me? I used to be normal."
That is true. I related to that. I know that maybe you didn't, but I related to her in that aspect because when I go to a New Kids on the Block concert, it's like something takes over me.
That's the truth.
And it's like,
no, that's 100% true.
It's like the spirit of NKOTB takes over me.
So you know what I picture? You know at like the car dealerships, the big like things that go up with the arms that flail? That's what I picture.
That's me.
That's Nikki. That's like that's her at a New Kids concert.
And it's crazy. It just
happens.
It's like a switch. Yep. And then all of a sudden it happens.
The lights go out. Right. And then there's Nikki.
And so when I saw her, I was like, I totally get it. I know you, girl. Yeah. I know.
Well, I think Rita mentioned when we chatted before that we went and filmed at a Backstreet Boys concert in Long Island, and she was a Backstreet Boys fan in high school, but didn't really listen to them anymore. So we went to this concert so I could do a bit of filming of some of the fans, and she had all her release forms for people to sign. So she was feeling very respectable in her seat, going through her paperwork, and the lights went down, the music stopped, and she just was transported to another world. She was up on her chair, she was singing and dancing, and she felt all the feelings all over again.
Oh, it's so wonderful. It's really such a great experience.
It gives me butterflies to think about.
I have goosebumps right now just thinking about it, because it's just and I'm so glad that you guys captured this. Like, this is what we need. Like, this is what we want. We want people to see that this makes us happy. It's our happy place.
Yeah.
And, it's not a negative thing. It's so positive, and so many aspects of positivity. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like I have this community of people that I can go to, not just for like New Kids on the Block life things, but for real life things too.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, like One Direction or Take That, but maybe they have some similar communities. I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out.
I think what was important for me in making the film was, of course, to make it for the fans so that they felt seen and represented. But, along with that is making it for people who don't understand what it's about or have judged it. I wanted it to be really accessible to people who don't like boy bands or even hate boy bands, to help them understand why this is important and why it can be so positive for people.
Yes, because I watched it with my kids and they were like, oh, they got it.
We had our US festival premiere at Fantastic Fest last year, which is a big kind of genre film festival. So most of the people who go there are, I guess, horror fans, not boy band fans necessarily, but we had huge audiences come and see the film, and who all told us afterwards how much they related to the women in the film, because they love horror films in that way, or they love heavy metal music in that way. They could see the commonality in loving something.
And that's great, because I mean, you really are. You're really showing you're really showing a love for something and how it can transcends.
Yeah. No matter, it doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
It's a very important
choose your life,
to communicate.
Plan out your life direction for some of the women in the film.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how long was this filmed over? Like, how many years was the film done over?
So nothing happens quickly in film world,
Yes.
sadly. So we were filming for about 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to see the women, over a few years. I revisit them a few times, which, I always love when films do that. But
Yes,
it's really interesting, especially with Elif, who, was 16 when I started and then 18 when I finished. And then, in between that, Rita and I were trying to raise money to finish it and, get people to support us along the way. And then it was another year or two in post-production, editing, getting clearance. There's so many things to clear every picture on the wall and every beat of a song. And so, yeah, it was quite a fiddly post-production process too.
So after the film was done, you all went on, you went all over the world, really?
Yeah, so we had the world premiere was at Hot Docs in Toronto, and 3 out of 4 of the women were able to come. Susan couldn't make it, sadly. But yeah, it was just so amazing to have them all in a room together at the same time because I'd been editing it for so long and working on it for so long, they were already a family and they were already friends in my mind. But I forgot that they hadn't actually met.
That's crazy.
And so we had a really lovely, we all got pizza together and they showed each other their favorite video clips and they bonded, within like 20 seconds, really. It was really lovely to witness.
Oh, that's so neat.
That's great. I just love that they're like friends. Like
Yeah.
it was like instant friendship.
Yeah.
Have you still kept tabs with them? Like, do you still talk to them?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And the film is still traveling and going to festivals. So Andara in particular, she's got a brother who lives in Europe, so she managed to travel. Like she has seen the film in so many different locations. Sadie has traveled around a bit as well. The two of them went to London together to the BFI screening. So because I had a baby like 6 weeks before the film came out, so I was a bit limited in where I could actually travel to. So it was so wonderful that these 4 women and Rita were able to travel and represent the film so well while I was kind of stuck at home.
Yeah,
I think that's great, and congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. And we
Thank you.
hear his name is Joey.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good boy band name, hey.
And he has beautiful blue eyes.
Yes, amazing blue eyes. And I don't have blue eyes, and neither does my partner. So, the boy band gods are reaching out to him.
Oh, wow. He's going to be an instant boy band member.
Yep. Sign him up.
He does like music. So, and I sung a lot of One Direction to him while he was in the womb. So.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So, were there any other fans maybe that you had talked to or met with that didn't make it in the movie?
Yeah.
Well, there were quite a lot actually, and those were hard emails to send and phone calls to make because I did visit the women in the film over a number of times, and with a lot of the other people we spoke to, it became clear after the first few interviews that it wouldn't continue. But I did really want fan art represented. So there was a fan artist in Melbourne who I did spend a bit of time with because I just thought that it's such an interesting part of being a fan, that creativity that, I mean, even what you guys do with the podcast, people who take their fandom and turn it into something new. It's like this girl had her own fans now, was making money from the artwork she was making. I just thought that was incredible, and people don't think about how innovative and talented and entrepreneurial fans are.
Yes, and you did bring it up, fan fiction.
Yes,
these could be like legit movies or books,
right,
like that people write, and I mean, they're great writers.
Yes, that's what was amazing too. I mean, some are just silly, but some, like, it's such the talented writers, and that we actually spoke to a few teachers who said to us, the girls who can become obsessed in high school, it often can translate to really important skills that they use academically or in their professions, because they become really good at researching things or really good at writing or really good at drawing, all these skills that come about from being a fan.
Yes, and
that's interesting.
I do want to bring one thing up that Dara said that I totally do in my work. I'm a web developer, and I always incorporate boy band stuff into my work. And she does this. She did the same thing. Like,
yeah.
I was like, yes, somebody else, like in her PowerPoint presentations and whatever, she would incorporate. And I was like, yes, somebody else does that. I love it. Because when I have like fake names that I have to put up, I'm always like Donnie Wahlberg, Joey McIntyre, Nick Carter.
Totally. All our hard drives for the film were named after boy band members. So it was quite funny when we were in the production house and you had these like old men being like, can I please have Nick Carter? Or, I need Jordan Knight upstairs.
Oh, me too.
I love that.
That is
you guys
so
are
funny.
so fun. And I just, again, thank you for making this movie. It's such a great film. And we were so lucky that we were able to see it.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much.
You guys are going to be able to see it on Fuse TV this week.
Saturday.
Right? Yeah.
May 18th.
May 18th. And is there a certain time that it's coming on?
Yeah, it's on at 9 p.m.
Okay.
on the Saturday. I'm pretty sure after that it will be available on their website.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Just getting the extra information. But yeah, it will start off on their channel and then, yeah, hopefully available on their site as well.
Okay.
Awesome.
And you know what I thought would be really cool that we could do is we could all watch it and then we could do a Facebook Live and talk about it.
I think that would be fun.
Oh, that's so fun.
Live tweet.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
I mean, we would love to hear what people think, on Twitter or Instagram. We're very busy on both of those, or on Facebook. We love hearing from fans of all kinds.
We should live tweet.
Yeah, we'll live
That'd be
tweet.
fun.
Yes, we'll live tweet the movie. We'll live tweet the movie, and then make sure that you go and you like. You guys are on Facebook.
Yep, Facebook, Boyband Fangirl, Instagram, Boyband Fangirl, and Twitter, Boyband Fangirl _. Someone else got Boyband Fangirl, and we can't get it off.
Perfect.
And we'll make sure that we go ahead and put all of those on our website. So you guys don't have to remember it. You can just go right on our website and find them and go and follow them because they're amazing. And you got to let them know that you love this movie. If you've seen it and you love it, let them know.
Or if you hate it and you're like, why isn't my boy band represented? That'll help us get a sequel made. So,
Perfect.
Why isn't K-pop in there? Why isn't, we're up for all those opinions.
I volunteer for New Kids on the Block. Oh, there was one more thing. Yeah, there was another movie that we talked about the last time that we talked. And it was a documentary in case you wanted to see it in the perspective of the boy band and the fans. And you had mentioned there was a film.
Yeah, it's called After the Screaming Stops.
Okay.
About Bros. And it is because a lot of people did say to us, why aren't the bands represented in your film?
Mm-hmm.
And for Rita and I, it was very much wanting the fans to have their chance in the spotlight. I think Rita's described it as it's not 20 feet from stardom, it's 20,000 feet from stardom. I wanted to keep that distance between, the girls and the guys that they love. But After the Screaming Stops is really interesting because you do get that access to the band and just kind of see how hard their lives have been after that, that glory of the #1 hits and how they have their relationship with their fans and kind of in lots of ways have to view the fans as just this mass. It's hard to have individual relationships with them. And I kind of wanted to keep the magic in our film that it might be all in your head, but you do feel like you have a relationship with your favorite member in the band.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I like that too. So thank you for keeping
I like that perspective.
Yes. But go ahead and go if you want to watch that movie. I'm going to watch it because I'm interested in seeing that perspective.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, I think.
So we really appreciate you taking the time because I know that you have a little one who's sick and you came and did this with us for the second time. So we thank you so much.
Pleasure.
We really appreciate
What a fun
you.
thing to talk about, boy bands.
Yes.
I know. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Yes.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, thanks again for coming on. And again, check out our website to get all of the information, to get if you missed the date of when this is going to be coming out, all of that stuff, go on our website. There's a link
all there.
in
Social
the
media,
podcast
everything.
episode. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for being on our podcast. And
my pleasure.
We'll just say
Thank
goodbye
you.
right now. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hey, Brooke and Nikki, it's Stephanie from Missouri. I am currently in transit from Kansas City to St. Louis in between my two mixtape tour shows. Wow, last night was so amazing in Kansas City. The show was just wonderful. I didn't really think anything could top the Total Package tour because that was just such a special tour. This is equally as amazing and special in its own way. It was so much fun. A little more reminiscent of the cruise, kind of that party vibe. The guys really came out in the crowd more and interacted. It was very, very fun. Anybody who has V-Stage tickets, you will not be disappointed this tour. This morning at the hotel near the venue, we met a mom of one of the girls that was Donnie's cover girl on stage last night. She had a shirt on that said, "This baby blockhead loves Donnie Wahlberg," and she has to go up on stage for cover girl, and it was cute, and it was so fun to talk to her mom this morning. She said she's never going to wash her hand again. So it just, made me think of Jenny and her experience and just how this little 10-year-old girl will now have this, to hold in her heart forever. What a special moment. I'm really glad I got to meet them. And we also met a husband who his wife said, "Hey, why don't we go to the New Kids on the Block show in Kansas City?" So they traveled in, and it was his first show, and he said he was a total metalhead in the 80s and followed, bands around, and that was his genre, and he said he absolutely loved the concert. He was just really enjoyed every minute of it. So it was really neat to hear somebody who's not, a diehard BH, really loved the concert. So it was very well done. Super, super fun. So I've been listening to old My So-Called Whatever episodes to keep me company on the road. So I re-listened to the Donnie episode on the way up there. So I had all this love, BH love in my heart that I went into it with. So I'm re-listening to some cruise stuff now. So I will continue on my journey, and can't wait for another great show tonight. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Hey, Brooke and Nikki, it's Jackie, a.k.a. Brown Sugar Honey. Just a thought. The other day I was walking home and listening to the mixtape tour playlist that Nikki created on Spotify. And I got to If You Go Away, and I don't know why. I mean, I've heard the song a million times, but like a flood of memories just came back to like a moment where, it was like a school dance. We call them canteens. And, you had like the slow dance with like your classmates. And, it was like a 2-step slow dance, and I don't know, it just came flooding back. It was just a nice memory. I'm just wondering if other people have that experience sometimes too. Well, songs often do that, but it doesn't always happen whenever I listen to that song. But for that particular day, that moment, maybe it was the weather and the sun being out and just my mind being clear. But yeah. That's probably one of the reasons why I love that song so much. It just brings me back to a time that was just wondrous and fun and exciting and heartbreaking, etc. Anyway, see you guys on the mixtape tour. Bye.
End of messages.
Files done.